And good afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Franklin. We did have some changes from the noon update from the National Hurricane Center to just this afternoon. Their thinking is there is now a medium chance of development if, and that's a big if, this little tropical area is able to move into the Gulf waters. Now, it stays over land. It isn't going to happen. But if it does move into the Gulf waters, there is a chance that it could try and develop into either depression, briefly, maybe a storm, as it's along the Texas coast. That would be Tuesday and into Wednesday. And then by Wednesday, that circulation is already moving inland. So if that were to happen, it could increase the winds. But right now, our main issue is going to be the ongoing rain threat. Let's take you through what is happening right now. The Hurricane Center has also tagged this with Invest 90, which just means that computer models are going to be run on it. It really doesn't change anything other than that. And what you see is basically what we had been talking about going back to last week was kind of a loosely organized area of thunderstorms. And even over land, that area remains fairly loosely organized. And we'll switch over to visible satellite, and you clearly can see, and even on the infrared, there is a broad circulation. Problem is, we're trying to use visible satellite to see if there is any surface-based circulation, but there's just too much rainfall to even see that. So here's what the models are thinking. There's the center. Now, this is looking at the computer models that are just now being run on Invest 91. So we've got the spaghetti plot for those, as well as our tropical precision cast. Now, according to the model consensus, which is just one model, Tuesday, tomorrow afternoon, center of this is still over kind of the Rio Grande, well inland in South Texas. The other model does indicate maybe it's trying to move offshore. So if that, again, is the case, it does have a window of opportunity. Now, what's interesting is our model here almost indicates no real circulation over water, just kind of hugging maybe the coast or staying just inland. Again, if it stays inland, it is not going to organize. It likely will start increasing our winds, so could see some coastal flooding as well as our rain chance. And notice there is a lack of rain over us on Wednesday afternoon. We kind of get the bulk of the rain moving in early Thursday and going into Thursday afternoon. So that's one model run. Here's what another one. This is the Euro. Again, there's that kind of broad circulation Euro model. And I was also looking at the ensemble, meaning the Euro being run several times. And the models are all over the place, either right along the coastline or just inland. So kind of splitting the difference right along the shoreline. So again, that window of opportunity for development would be very brief. Now, this model, the Euro, little slower than our precision cast. Notice it still has most of the rainfall well to our west going into early Thursday morning, with the arrival not getting here until later in the day Thursday and starting to wrap up by Friday. Still some ongoing rain on Friday. So the timing is still a little bit different with regard to where that roughly based circulation is, either Wednesday right over us or Thursday right over. So there is still about a day difference and a day spread with some of the model consensus. Right now, what we're looking at, and again, this is kind of regardless of development, is a heavy rain threat. That heavy threat is particular out to our west throughout the day today and tomorrow, though the threat does increase for southeast Louisiana to a level 2 out of 4 during the day on Tuesday. Wednesday, still a level 2 out of 4, but we do see that level 3 moderate risk inch a little bit closer to us on Wednesday, and even more so Thursday. So we probably get into the bulk of that tropical rain Wednesday into Thursday. Still most of us under that level 2, but we could see, and again, these will likely shift depending upon the evolution of our tropical system, and then we might see this inch a little bit closer to us, or maybe the heavier threat stays much farther off to our west. That threat does continue on into Friday, though by then it is starting to taper off. Now, this is the rainfall total possibility looking at the next 7 days. There are pockets out to our west of 10 plus inches of rainfall. We could, in theory, in a few isolated locations, see rain totals inch that close in a few isolated spots. I don't think that is going to be a widespread concern for us. But what we could see over the course of the next several days, and again, a lot of this occurring Wednesday and into Thursday, 4 to 5 inches of rainfall, say, on the North Shore and in Mississippi. 3 to 4 inches of rainfall, say, from the river parishes toward the metro area, maybe around the metro area south, 2 to 3 inches, and 1 to 2 along the coastline. Kind of interesting interesting. We're talking about a tropical system, and our coast would actually see less rainfall due to the fact that this would be coming from the southwest, moving up toward the northeast. And again, it may keep a lot of the heavy rain threat a little bit more removed to our west. It's just going to have to depend upon how this system evolves. What is going on right now is very strong wind shear across the northern Gulf Coast. So conditions are not exactly hospitable for anything to try and form, even if it's able to get over the Gulf waters. Now, where it is right now is an area of low wind shear. However, as that disturbance tries to move over the Texas waters, Tuesday into Wednesday, the wind shear actually increases. So that would help to keep this system fairly weak if it is able to even develop and if it's able to even get over the Gulf waters. More questions than answers, honestly, at this point. And the Hurricane Center even admits their confidence is pretty low at this point, even though they did increase the chance of development. Their assumption is there is going to be a very brief window that maybe these systems are able to take advantage of and quickly try and organize. Doesn't mean this would be a strong system by any means, but sometimes these are able to take advantage of those brief little opportunities and something could try and form. Again, this would be increasing wind shear over us Thursday, and the system would already be over us at that time. The reason this is going to be drawn up in our direction, and it's something we've been really talking about and the models have been doing a good job of going back to last week. Upper level troughing is going to help to draw this mid-level circulation, there's still that, upwards into the northeast. So from the southwest to the northeast is the trajectory this system is going to be taking. The big question is going to be, where is that heavy rain swath with all of that tropical moisture? This is the reason it's going to get drawn our way. And then with this upper trough moving on, big upper ridge building into the south, all that moisture quickly gets kicked off to our east, and we're already seeing a drying trend heading into the weekend. So what we're looking at is the tropical moisture and that weak frontal boundary we've been talking about. Rounds of heavy rainfall, especially Wednesday and Thursday. Again, the timing is still pretty rough, but those look to be our two wettest days. And at the moment, flooding is looking to be a little bit more likely from this system. Now, how many inches of rainfall we actually pick up, it'll really depend upon where exactly that heavy rain swath sets up in the coming days. Right now, I'm not as concerned about tropical development, still not, more concerned about the heavy rains that we'll be getting probably throughout the week. May start to see our rain chances tapering off by Friday, and it does look like we will be drying out for this weekend. Of course, we're going to have a complete update of all of this that I've been talking about coming up on WW Louisiana News at 4, but did want to update with a little bit more in-depth discussion of that tropical system that may or may not actually do anything. Again, there's a lot of big ifs with regard to this, but what we know a little bit more confidently at is the fact that we will be seeing some heavy rainfall rounds over the next several days.